Mr. Chairman and Chair Hawley, I appreciate you holding this hearing, and the witnesses, I appreciate you being here today. Look, the Biden-Harris disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan sent shockwaves not just through that region, but literally across the entire globe. I was not in this body at that time. I was actually on the campaign trail. And there is nowhere that I visited in the state of Alabama where people didn't have a visceral reaction to the lack of our commander-in-chief being in command. We know that that travesty was just further elevated by the fact that we failed in the vetting process. And today we're here to get answers about what actually happened and how we can make sure that this doesn't happen in the future. So that's what I want to focus on. I have heard a lot of conversation about what went right or what went wrong, what should have happened, where we failed, where we didn't have the proper procedures. So let's talk about that. One of the things I saw, and I think it was September of 2022, Mr. Adelman, DHS OIG released a report that stated that CBP admitted the following evacuees to the U.S. under OAW, and it was 417 evacuees whose name was totally unknown. There were 242 evacuees whose last name was unknown, 11,110 evacuees whose date of birth was January 1st, and it goes on and on and on. And despite this, the Biden-Harris administration and DHS did not concur with the recommendations of DHS OIG that you all made to address it and to actually ensure it didn't happen again. One of those recommendations was from DHS to develop a comprehensive contingency plan to adequately vet and screen all individuals during future similar emergency situations. So do you know, Mr. Adelman, if any of the steps have been taken to ensure that the years to re-examine and implement, these different recommendations, has that been taken, and where are we on that?
Thank you, Senator. For that one recommendation on lessons learned, the department, as you noted, did not agree and has not made any progress in completing that recommendation. We have closed a second recommendation in that report on the recurrent vetting process.
So wait, put a pin in that for a second. Do either of you know of any changes or structural processes that have been improved upon the failures that we have seen in the past?
I can go back to a point a moment ago. We in State OIG have an open recommendation on the department for memorializing arrangements for the collection, tracking, analysis, and sharing of evacuee data to update the memorandum of agreement between the department and state.
Has that happened, though?
It has not. That recommendation is open, so.
Still?
Yes.
Still?
So.
After we saw the travesty that occurred a few weeks ago, the loss of life, still? Okay, do you have anything?
Yes, in our 2 reports on screening and vetting, we made a total of 10 recommendations, and 8 of those have been closed. So taking the point that you made earlier about what can we learn from this and how can we improve in the future, I think the department has taken action within about 6 to 8 months of both of our reports to close 8 of the recommendations.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, and we have a limited amount of time. Mr. Adelman, will you just tell me some of those recommendations that were made under the previous administration that we could be working on right now to try to kind of,
Sure.
that were obviously rejected, that we need to put back in front of people right now?
So the additional recommendations really looked at after the evacuees were admitted into the United States, focused on who is responsible for tracking the end of parole within DHS. The components, CBP, USCIS, and ICE, all could not agree on who is responsible. They also focused on better sharing of derogatory information within DHS and improving data quality issues. We found a large number of data inaccuracies in DHS's information.
Well, in my remaining minute, I know that the Trump administration has talked about refocusing on where we are now, finding these individuals, making sure that we're doing a better job. But based on your experience in dealing with these issues, are there any particular unresolved issues? Obviously, the administration can push, but that we here in Congress need to take a look at in order to be able to be better positioned in the event that this happens in the future?
I think for me, it would be just to make some progress on the recommendations to clarify the responsibilities within the Department of Homeland Security and improve information sharing.
Okay, Mr. Baker?
Could you repeat the question? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and I have 10 seconds real quick. Mr. Rourke, do you have anything?
Yes, I think for DOD, if the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security can implement the 2 remaining open recommendations, I think that would go a long way to improving this in the future.
All right, well, let's get to work. Let's work together to make sure that we keep the American people safe.
Senator Coons.